Hello and welcome here. Thank you so much for choosing to be part of this. My name is El and I am alright. If you've not yet subscribed, kindly subscribe right now so that you get to know when next we post other amazing topics and answer other amazing questions so that you don't get to miss out, right? Today I want to share I want to answer one particular question, and it is what are our true private parts? What are our true private parts? Usually we know the private parts to mean those parts that you keep to yourself, or rather, we have always seen the private parts as those parts that you should always keep to yourself, that you should not make public. So I have some questions here, and those questions are just the questions I want us to answer before we actually know what are our true private parts. Are my private parts my okay, for those of us that are guys, when you say the only private parts that we have is our penis, when you say girl's private part is her vagina and her breast, what are your own definitions of private parts? I think you may want to pause this video here and just drop your answer in the comment section. So by the time you are through with watching the video, or by the time you are through with listening this, if you're following it as podcast, you can come back and drop your answer after you must have gotten to the end of this particular episode. So what are your private parts? What are your true private parts? For me, is it just my penis? And for my wife, is it her vagina and also maybe her breast, right? I know some people have said that their private parts is just the nipples. The breast is not part of it, it's just the nipples, right? So today I want to see how I can attempt that the particular question. What are our true private parts? So I did say earlier on that I was going to be asking two questions that will help us define what our private parts are. If our genitals are private, right? If we think that it's only our genitals that are the private parts of our body, are the other parts of the body public? So if you say my penis is a private part, will you say my lips are public parts? Do they belong to everybody? Like what Mr. President, PMB, President Muhammadu Buhari, the president of Nigeria, as at the time of making this video, whether some of us like him or we do not like him. Um, he made a statement when he was coming to government on the day he was sworn in during his inauguration, and he said something that I belong to everybody and I belong to no one. So are my lips, does my lips belong to everybody? My hands, do they belong to everybody? Right? So if our genitals are private and other parts of our body public, or is it only our private parts of the body that are sexual, used for sex, that are used for sex? Is it only okay, let me rephrase it this way, right? Many times it's like people think that it's only our genitals that are private, or rather the parts that we use for sex that are private. But in the real sense, every part of me belongs to me, right? I belong to myself. I belong to no one. And at the same time, I belong to everybody. I choose which part of my body I want to share with any person, which part of my body I want to share with the world. So there are some people I refuse to hug. As far as I'm concerned, my full body is my private part. I don't want to hug you. I don't want to share the part with you. There are some places I don't want to share a handshake with. I don't want to give them a handshake. I don't want to receive a handshake. My hands become private. In fact, I remember growing up as an SU boy. Growing up as an SU, yes, I was raised an SU. I'm still an SU. I love being SU. I love the lifestyle of SU. I encourage you to be an SU if you want to be an SU. And SU simply means Scripture Union, right? And Scripture Union is in many countries of the world. Actually, Scripture Union did not even start from Nigeria. It started from the United Kingdom, came into Nigeria, and Nigeria, it is more than 100 years. And interestingly, I'm living in Ibadan, which happens to be the headquarters of Scripture Union Nigeria, and that's fine. Okay, so I was raised SU, and in SU we were taught something, that any handshake that goes beyond the elbow is no longer a handshake. So which means that for those of us in Scripture Union, from this part of our body upwards belong to us, right? It was our private part. It was not something we could share with anybody. Yes, we could share from this part with others, but from this part up, we should share it only with our spouse. We had that belief at that particular time, and that's actually what I want to tell you, that even this part belongs to me. It is not only the part of the body that is involved in sex that is private, because many people say the private parts, using it as the list, maybe for example the penis, the vagina, and the breast of a woman. But then if you are using that because they are the genitals, they are the parts of the body, you may think the primary part of the body that are used for sex, but then they really are not. If you think so, you may be wrong, because all of our bodies is used for sex, right? So if you believe in fingering, if you believe in hand job, mutual masturbation, if you believe in oral sex, if you do kissing, if you do hugging, fondly touching, caressing, which are all sexual activities, you do all of these with all the parts of your body. All the parts of your body comes into play, right? Even if you're sexting, your voice comes into play. If you're imagining, you're thinking, telephone sex and all of that, your voice, your mind, and the rest comes into play. So at the end of the day, if we really want to look at it, every part of our body is a sexual organ. Every part of our body may not be a reproductive organ. We must understand that there's a difference between a reproductive organ and a sexual organ. So as a sex counselor, I will say that every part of your body is a sex organ, right? Every part of your body that you use in sexual activities, that you use for sexual activities, that you use for sexual pleasure, that you use to give or to receive sexual pleasure, is a sexual organ. That's what I'm saying. It's a personal opinion, right? It may not be a reproductive organ, but it's a sexual organ. So if we then say that our private parts, our sexual parts, are the parts of our body that are sexual, that we use for sexual activities, then of course we use every part of our body for sexual pleasure and for sexual activities. So it suffices to say that every part of our body is private. Every part of our body is private, it's public. You do not own any part of my body. No part of my body belongs to you. They all belong to me. I choose to share with you whichever part that I want to share with you. So my simple answer to what are our true private parts, I will say every part of our body is our true private part. They are our true private parts. Every part of your body, your ear, your lips, your teeth, your nails, as long as they belong to your body, they are yours. You are the one who has the discretion to share it with whoever you want to share it with. You are the one who has the discretion to use it as you wish. I like what scripture says for those who are Christians, that as a youth, you live your life the way you want to live. Choose to live your life the way you want to live. It is your life. Enjoy the days of your youth as you please to. But always remember that you give account for how you live your life. You give account of how you have lived your life. Thank you so much for following. Subscribe, drop a comment, right? You can contact us using the means in the description section, and share this with your friends so that they get to learn the same things that you are learning. What are our true private parts? They are every part of our bodies. My name is El, and I'm alright. You rock.